tuned for Airgun Detectives.
Welcome to a special episode of Airgun Detectives. I'm your host, JC, and our Rare and or Unusual series continues. And today, we're going to take the mystery out of the Hatsan Galatian #3 PCP rifle. This is a carbine. They don't make this one anymore. They have a semi-automatic version. I'm not sure how much that's going to be around. But anyway, this is the carbine version. But before we get into this, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button down in the corner. It doesn't cost you anything. It's absolutely free, but it really does help support the channel. Also, if you can, check out my website, www.airgundetectives.com. On that site, I've got various t-shirts. I've got some hats. I got my Generation 2 bipods, and you can see they're sitting right here on this rifle right now. I also have some of my inventory I put on there, and Ugammo shooters. Don't forget the brake barrels. As far as the SAT and the CAT triggers, I do have the trigger screw kits for that. We'll turn your Gammo trigger into a nice light match grade type trigger. Anyway, check that out when you have an opportunity. All right, so let's continue and take the mystery out of this Galatian. All right, I've had this for years, absolutely for years, I really have. It was probably probably the third PCP rifle I ever purchased. But I really like it, even to this day. If you'll notice, I don't know if you guys know this, Hatsan is really big in making shotguns. This almost has a shotgun look to it. It really does. Just the whole trigger guard, the whole setup, it reminds me of a shotgun. Anyway, this is a pre-charged pneumatic PCP rifle. It has a 255cc tank, and it's fillable to 200 bar, which is about 2,900 PSI. A lot of times we'll just say 3,000 PSI because you round it up to that. This is a carbine, and it's got a side lever action. It's got full metal magazines. In fact, there's a spare one right here in the bottom, but they're all metal. This is in 22 caliber, so this one holds 13 rounds. And then they do make it in 177, and they make it in 25 caliber as well. This rifle itself is 42 inches overall. It's a beast. It's 9 pounds without the scope. It's 9 pounds without the scope. And it has a 22.8 inch barrel. And this does have the 1/2x20 UNF on here. And guess what? We're going to be using Terry Buck Rails suppressor on this, because this will make it backyard friendly. And I'm even going to show you the difference on it in the Chrono, the difference between shooting it with and without. But it takes this beast, and I'm telling you, it tames it to a backyard friendly rifle. Also, this features a Quattro trigger. It does have an automatic safety on it. I have not modified it yet, so each time you fire it, you have to push this forward. It's actually pretty easy because it's right there by your finger. So each time you reach down, you just got to touch it with your finger, but it's automatic. One of these days, maybe I'll look into it, and we'll get rid of that, so we'll see. Love the stock on this. It feels like it's rubber. The whole thing feels like it's a rubber texture. This would be perfect in, like, if you're hunting in moist weather, something like that. And I love the fact it's got set up all these Picatinny rails. There's 2 on the side, 1 on the bottom. They fit my bipods just perfect on there. So the split bipods just fit just nice on there. This also comes with fiber optic sights, and if you can see, this has the green in the back, and this goes right on the 22mm rail. This drops right down on it. So this is the Hatsan's typical rail. You can either do an 11mm dovetail, or you can do like a Picatinny style 22mm. But you have the option to shoot in open sights on this, which is really cool, because there's not a lot of PCPs you can shoot open sights. What I have on here is actually a Hatsan scope. This is a Hatsan scope. It's a 30mm side focus. It's actually a pretty good scope. It really is. Overall, it's a very solid, hefty rifle, very, very stable. But the fun part is going to be going out and shooting it and showing you guys the performance, because I think you're going to be somewhat surprised. This is non-regulated, by the way. Again, 3,000 PSI, roughly 2,900 PSI, 200 bar fill, and it's non-regulated. But let's go out and test it. We'll go put it through our usual gamut, and then we'll come back and talk about it at the end. So stay tuned for the next segment. All right, let's test out our Galatian for some velocity here. We're just going to shoot some JTS dead centers, 22 caliber obviously, and these are 18.1 grain. We'll just shoot 5 of them over the Chrony. We'll just see how well it averages. And in addition to that, we're going to test out Terry's suppressor on this. I'm going to shoot 3 shots without the suppressor, then I'm gonna throw the suppressor on for the last two. So let's just see how well we do here. All right. 948, and that's a little loud. 945, and here's shot number 3. 936. Okay, real quick, let's just throw this suppressor on here. Now the last two. Oh my God, so much quieter. 972, and one more. 974. Well, anyway, there's your average feet per second, your foot-pounds of energy. And man, does that suppressor make a difference. Yeah, once I line up the threads and thread it on there. Anyway, let's go ahead and move on to the next segment. All right, let's test the Galatian here for some accuracy here. What we're going to shoot is, this thing really likes these. This is not pellet picky, but it really likes these H&N slugs. These are a 25 grain, and this thing, it flings them actually really well. Once again, we're going to use the HD targets. I told you guys, I ran into you guys at the SHOT Show. So I'll leave you a link down below. I'm liking them so far. They actually work out pretty good. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to take 5 shots. We're going to base it on grouping. I'm at my PCP range. Set that up. We're about 40 yards back. And once you check that out real quick, look at my maze here. I got to shoot past a few little things here. But anyway, we got our 40 yards. That's what counts. So let's do 5 shots and just see how we make out. All right. Got to make sure I got plenty of rounds in here. Okay. All right. Shot number 1. I love this suppressor. It is so quiet. And I'll take that shot every time. And shot number 2. Beautiful. Shot number 3. I'm not jinxing this. Shot number 4. And one more. Can we do it? Can we do it? Come on, shot number 4. A little bit of wind. I'd say that's a heck of a group. I will take that group every time. And I'm telling you, Terry, your suppressor, just superb. It turned this beast into a nice, quiet, little backyard-friendly air gun. It really did. All right, let's move on to the next segment. All right, let's do a trigger test and see what the trigger pull weight is on our Galatian here. They actually have really nice triggers, Quattro triggers. Once you dial them in, they're pretty nice. But we got our trusty Lyman trigger gauge here. Let me reset this, and let's see where we're at. All right, 1 pound, 3.6 ounces. 1 pound, 3.6 ounces. Yes, that is one light trigger, and that is one quiet rifle with that suppressor on there. All right, let's move on to the next segment. All right, let's do a little plinking with our Galatian here. What we're going to shoot, same one for the accuracy. This thing is not pellet picky, by the way. You can shoot the 18 grain pellets in it, but I'm shooting some slugs. These are a 25 grain slug. Actually, yes, these are 25 grains. These are the H&N slugs. And it loves these. As you can see, it stacks them through the same hole. So we're 40 yards out. Go ahead, check that out real quick. Got a large ram there. We got several eggs, a little chicken, and I got a shotgun shell on the far right. So let's go ahead and take the shotgun shell out. We'll work our way from the right side to the left side with our Galatian here. All right. And the egg. And the chicken. And the next egg. And the next egg. And then we're going to get picky. We're going to do a headshot on this ram here. God, and you got to love that suppressor on here. I'm telling you. Makes it such backyard friendly. There you go. And then the headshot. Yeah, this thing is an absolute tack driver. I mean, you saw how it did in the accuracy. It's just as good out here, obviously in the plinking. It's, you know, a little larger. So this would be great for doing some small game hunting. It really would. It'd be headshots all day long. Anyway, that's your Galatian. Let's move on to the next segment. We're going to go ahead and wrap this up. All right, let's wrap this up with our conclusion. Hey, how did you guys think the Galatian did? I thought it did outstanding. But like anything else, let's talk about the negatives. One of my negatives, the autosave. I don't like the autosave. It's just, each time you cock this thing and then you go to fire it, you got to take the safe off every time. And I've modified my other ones just to turn it into a manual safe, and I have no doubt I can do that on this one too. And I will at some point. The other negative is a little bit loud for the backyard, but thank goodness for our buddy Terry at Buck Rail, because with this suppressor, I demonstrated this thing, it totally tames the beast. It turns it into a totally backyard friendly rifle. And once again, this one still takes the Hatsan filler probe. I don't like those. I'd rather just had a Foster fitting on it, but it is what it is. So it takes the filler probe you got to drop in there. But let's talk about the positives. There's lots of positives with this gun. First of all, let's start out with the accuracy. This thing is incredibly accurate, and it's not pellet picky. Now, you saw in the accuracy test and the plinking, we were using the slugs, and they were just right on. Unbelievable. It really liked those 25 grain slugs. And we were doing, think about it, we were doing a 1/4 inch group at 40 yards. That's almost unheard of. That's basically stacking pellets. I really do like, in addition to that, I like the fact that it's a 3,000 or rather 2,900 PSI fill. Because it's just, it makes it easy. If you're one of those guys that want to use a hand pump, you can pump this with a hand pump. You know, the 255 cc cylinder, that's not too much air. So you totally can pump that up. So for an older PCP, this is actually getting good velocity and good foot-pounds of energy. And just like any other PCP, I charted this for you, so check this out. So the chart's going to show you the non-regulated results. And there's always a sweet spot when you're using a non-regulated PCP. So check this out. So the sweet spot on this is actually between shot number 6 and shot number 29. This is starting at roughly a 3,000 PSI fill. So shot number 6 through 29 is going to give you on average 978 feet per second and 38 foot-pounds of energy. And we tested those with the JTS, the 18.1 grain pellets. So as you can see, you're going to get more shots out of it, but those are just the most concise when you're getting pretty much the lower standard deviation. The velocity is pretty much consistent with all those shots. So those are going to be your very best. Now you're going to be able to stretch this probably well over 40 shots. That'll be usable shots that you can have fun with. But I'm just giving you the premium shots, the most concise. That's right there. Anyway, so that's the Galatian charted out anyway, so you guys can get a visual on how that shoots. But usually the non-regulated PCPs, they start out a little low, and then as you're shooting, the velocity will increase, it'll go up to the top, and it'll start arcing and coming back down. So the key is you find that sweet spot in between there. All right, so good foot-pounds of energy, good velocity. What else do I like about this? I love this rubberized stock. This thing is so awesome. And I like the fact it's got the different Picatinny rails, so you can put your accessories on there. I love the bipods, the split bipods on here. It makes such a stable platform. I like the adjustable cheek rest. And again, this texture is so neat. And a little touch of class. You got your spare magazine in here. So you want to go hunting, you know, you're going to have your 13 shots here and then 13 spares. You have 26 rounds. That's plenty to go hunting with. And then I like the fact that you can shoot this open sights. I prefer scopes nowadays because my eyes aren't as good as they used to be, but you do have that option of the open sights, and there's not many rifles, PCP rifles, that have open sights. And I just love that it has that kind of feel of a shotgun. It really does. It's pretty good. What else I liked is the trigger. That Quattro 2 trigger is just outstanding. You can really dial it in. You saw how light it was. So what's really a bummer is they no longer produce this, the carbine style. And the carbine style, sometimes it's nice. Yeah, the semi-automatic might be fun. A lot more to go wrong with. It's not as dependable. I really like the carbine with the side cocking effort. That's pretty awesome. But you might see one of these around. Heck, I might even part with this one day and throw it up on the website. You never can tell, so we'll see. Because I just have so much inventory, and like I said, I like to clear some out so I can get some new stuff in here. Show you guys some new stuff. Anyway, that's what I keep telling the wife. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Airgun Detectives. Remember, this is the Rare and Unusual series, which I'll do one episode every month of an air gun that is either no longer manufactured or one that's kind of unusual. Maybe it's still manufactured. So we're going to do Rare and Unusual. Anyway, but I think this Hatsan's a good one. And again, I'm just kind of disappointed that they no longer put this one out there. Anyway, don't forget, this is where we take the mystery out of the air gun. So until next time, hope you and your family are doing great and you're getting plenty of shooting in. So you take care and God bless.